Welcome to tutorial series on SQL and database. This is chapter 2, Introduction to SQL and why to use SQL and its advantages. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. When we say structure, it means the statements in SQL has a predefined structure. For example, below, if you see, it has select followed by column name, then from clause, then country name, then where clause, then the column name filter condition, then order by clause followed by column name. So this select clause has a predefined structure as it is shown here. Similarly, the update clause has its own structure, delete clause has its own structure, and all other statement has some structure. And this is why SQL is called as structured query language. SQL is a standard database query language for storing, retrieving, and manipulating data in relational DBMS. Below are the various SQL language statements which we use in DBMS for selection, insertion, updation, deletion, or any kind of operations in DBMS. So this language statements is divided into 4 groups. First one is DML, which has select, insert, update, and delete operation. Then the second one is DDL, which has create, alter, and drop databases. Then the third is DCL, which is used to grant and revoke access to database, SPs, or views. Then the fourth one is TCL, which is used to begin the transaction and commit the transaction or roll back the transaction. So each of these language statements we will be discussing in details in upcoming videos. So for now, just understand there are many kinds of statements in SQL to perform different kind of operations. SQL became a standard of American National Standard Institute, shortly known as ANSI, in 1986. Immediately after a year, it became a standard of the International Organization for Standardization in 1987. Today, RDBMS of almost all vendors use SQL as the DB query language. For example, here we see the list of various vendors like Oracle, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, MySQL, Sybase, and DB2, all of which use SQL as a DB query language. However, each of these vendors have their own slight variation of SQL. For example, MS SQL uses TSQL, Oracle uses PLSQL, and MS Access version of SQL uses JetSQL. So what is the need of SQL? The first need is it allows users to define the data in a database. By defining the data means you define what kind of data it will be stored in the database. For example, below is the employee table where we have various kind of data like the employee name, first name, last name, and we also define whether it is a mandatory field or it is a non-mandatory field using the not null or null constraint. And then we also define the data type of the column, like what kind of data will be stored in the column, whether it will be of varchar type or whether it will be of integer type or whether of datetime type. Using SQL, you can insert records, update record, and delete record. You can also create objects such as databases and tables, and you can also drop them. And as I discussed before, there are many kind of language statements using which we perform all these kind of operations. Advanced features of SQL includes creating databases objects such as SPs, views, triggers, and setting permission on these databases objects. If you are not aware of stored procedure and views, then just consider it has a bunch of logic which is used to display the data to the user. So we will learn more about stored procedures and views in the upcoming videos. For now, just understand SQL is used to write SPs and views and also to set permissions who can view the SP or who can execute the SPs. Then SQL can be easily embedded with any other languages using SQL modules, libraries, or precompilers. Now each of the RDBMS vendors have released their own libraries to connect to their DBMS and perform any kind of operation on their DBMS. For example, Oracle have Oracle Client to allow .NET language to connect to the Oracle database and perform any kind of operation on Oracle database. Similarly, we have SQL Client which is used in .NET to connect to the database and perform any kind of operations in database. Similarly, for other languages like Java, PHP, library is released by the vendors to allow those languages to have access to their DBMS and perform any kind of operations on DBMS. So benefits of SQL. So the first benefit is it is very fast. It has high performance. Even if there is a millions or billions of records, SQL runs very fast and it gives instant result. And then we have database mirroring. So we can have the backup of the database. So even if the database is corrupted or if the data is lost, then you can check the backup database to get to a lost data. Then we have the CLR integration, like it can be easily integrated with other language runtime. Then we have a service broker. Service broker is like a messaging system. So we can implement a queue and we can send message to this queue, and there will be some other worker process which will pick up this message and it will perform some kind of operation depending upon the logic that is encoded in the message. Then we have DDL triggers. So trigger is used to perform any kind of operation when some kind of operation has happened. So for example, if you are updating a record in a table, then you can store the old data in some other table. And we also have various ranking function using which you can rank the record when you display it to the user. Then we have XML integration. SQL has XML support using which you can store data in XML format and then you can parse the XML data and display it to the user. Then we have exception handling. So we have the try catch block using which you can try and handle the error and you can send user defined message to the user in case of exceptions. Then we have scheduled job. Scheduled job is used to implement a bunch of logic which you want to execute at a predefined interval of time. This interval may be once in a day or once in a week or once in a fortnight or once in a month, or it can be like 2 times in a day or 2 times in a week. So you can set the interval as per your requirement. SQL also has a emailing feature using which you can send email alerts to the user in case of any illegal operations or some kind of erroneous operation. Then the last one is security. The SQL is highly secure, which makes it unhackable by unauthorized users. That's it in this video. Keep watching for more such videos. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, then please like, share and comment. And don't forget to subscribe my channel.